Hey guys, it's Vanished, aka Yugi, aka Alexis, aka Question Dodger here, and today we're gonna be talking about syndicates. Now, for the roughly like 6 or 7 of you that don't know what a syndicate is and the biggest of 2K25s, I'll explain it. Now, there's the first kind, which is just a group of friends who happen to have some slight biases for each other, and so they tend to vote for each other. An example of this is C's group. Now, the second kind, let's call them the violent offenders, are people who aren't even friends, they don't even like each other on average. They're simply around each other so that they can get debate vouchers from each other. A big example of this is Tron's group and Hyde's group. In this video, I'll only be talking about the second kind because personally, I just don't really care about the first kind. I think being biased for your friends is perfectly natural, I have no issue with it. Now, the reason I have an issue with the second kind is because I think it's breeding ignorance. There's just no point to learn philosophy nowadays. There's no point to think philosophically. There's no point to change anything about yourself. If you come into the current community, you know absolutely fucking nothing about philosophy, and you happen to be friends with someone like Hyde or someone like Tron, you just win every debate. Because for every debate, they just ping it in a private server, and the people in that private server just go and vote on the poll and say that you won. Or, say there's a judge, you'll just get the people who are biased for you to judge, and then whoa, you won. Now, to be clear, this isn't personally calling out Hyde or Tron or anyone like that. I don't have any personal issues with them, at least not in this regard. What I have an issue with is the sort of anti-intellectualism. It seems like they not only promote, but they have built their whole groups around. If you ever dare to say that Hyde or Tron are wrong about anything, you'll get 20, 30, 40 people in your comments on alts just saying that you're stupid and that you have no clue what you're talking about. And then sometimes they'll even go past stuff that's relevant to debating. Like, I've had people in the comments say that I'm wrong because I have a girlfriend online. Like, I don't know what that has to do with what we're talking about. And the funniest part of it all is that a majority of the time, these people who are on alts aren't even in the servers the debates happen in. The debate will not be recorded. There'll be no way they'll know what happened in the debate, and they'll start commenting about the debate. Like, how do you even know what happened? How do you know the person won? A recent example, actually, is that Hyde made a community post about us, basically saying that we got bitched by him when we tried to press him, and then we deleted the recording because we were losing or something. I don't even know. It was obviously a lie. And then this guy named Faint commented and then said, yeah, I was there and Yugi got bitched and they deleted the recording because they're insecure or something. Now, the funniest part isn't the hilarity of Faint saying someone got bitched or Faint saying something about a debate. The funniest part is that Faint's not even in the server. He's never been in the server. It's not like he joined for the Hyde debate and left. He has never been there, and I can prove it. As you can see on your screen, this is me searching up Faint's name in the server. Now, as you can see, there's no results, and you may be thinking, oh, well, he's just never sent a message. Well, the issue is that whenever you join the server, it sends a join message. And join messages, I don't know if you guys know this, join messages are linked to Discord accounts, and so it just treats it as if you sent any other message. Now, there's two explanations here, two hypotheses, if you will. Either Faint joined the server, deleted his join message so that no one could ever see that he was there, just to join the VC, listen to me and Hyde argue, and then leave the server, or he lied and he's never been there. I'm just gonna take it that he lied personally, because I'm not completely insane, and I'm also not fucking stupid. Now, you may think, why would Faint lie here? What motivation does he have to lie about a debate that he's never seen, that he has no reason to believe anything about? Well, the reason is because he's in a syndicate. Specifically, he's in Arianis' syndicate, but Arianis' syndicate is linked to Hyde's. Now, the second bigger question is, why does being in a syndicate make you want to lie about debates, and why does being in a syndicate promote lying about debates? And the reason that is because given you're in a syndicate, if you decide to go against the leader of the syndicate, like Hyde or Tron or even Arianis, even though Arianis is less bad, I've seen Arianis, he seems kind of reasonable. I like Arianis. It's because they'll kick you from the syndicate. They'll stop giving you vouches. And not only will they do that, they'll start making the people vouch against you. I don't know if you've picked up on it, but syndicates have this kind of cult-like structure where it's highly disincentivized to question the leaders of the syndicate, because the leaders of the syndicate are seen as the biggest and the greatest members. These are the high tiers. These are your Trons, these are your Hydes, these are your Arianuses, these are the best debaters in the syndicate, right? And so if you're to question them, you're questioning their quote-unquote authority. And so given you question their absolute authority, you get kicked out of the syndicate because that's seen as a kind of blasphemy. Now trust me, this sounds as insane to me as it does to you. Everyone I've ever spoken to at first when I brought up this thought I was crazy, but it's just obvious once you think about it for a second. It's genuinely like a cult or like a pyramid scheme, right? Like, the people at the top, they have all the authority. They can tell people to do whatever they want. They have all the power. And all you can do is just keep going and 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 hoping that eventually you'll have power in the future by being a goon, by being one of the people with no power. Meanwhile, the whole time, these people, they didn't get into power because they were a part of a syndicate. They didn't get into power because they gooned for someone. They got into power because they debated, because people thought they were good, etc., right? The issue is that syndicates are not only ineffective at debating, they not only breed anti-intellectualism, they also just lead to the comm getting worse. They lead to people not being good at debating because their goal isn't to become better. Their goal isn't to learn more. Their goal is solely to impress the higher-ups of their syndicate by gooning so that they can eventually be higher up in the syndicate too, and they can win debates in the same way that the higher-ups do. It just builds this kind of echo chamber where you never question anyone around you and no one around you ever questions you, because if you do that, you could be kicked out of the syndicate and you could lose all of the lore and all of the vouches that you have in the first place. Your entire legacy, quote unquote, is built upon this syndicate at this point. The reason why I am seen as good in the comm, relatively, I mean, I know there's going to be people in the comments saying that I'm not good because they're a part of a syndicate, but the reason I'm seen as good in the comm isn't because I was a part of a group. It's not because I don't know, gooned for people. It's not because I'm a part of a syndicate. It's because I learned philosophy. It's because I learned how to debate. It's because I debated people and won, right? That's how you actually get lore. That's how you actually get seen as a good debater. Whenever these syndicates die off in a few years, what's going to happen to these people is that they're no longer going to be taken seriously. We've seen this happen over and over again. First, it was Seth and Trini and them. They had syndicates. They had a group of people that vouched purely for them. But then once they petered off, once their group had died, once the new generation came in, everyone realized, hey, these guys aren't actually as good as we think they were. And then you move on, you get to people like Demi. I mean, I still think Demi's pretty good, but, you know, Demi had a syndicate, and then whenever, you know, his syndicate died off, whenever those people left debating and the new generation came in, people looked back at Demi and said, hey, this guy's not as good as we thought. And so what makes these people think they're going to be any different? They're going to leave the comm, their syndicate's going to die out, and then they're not going to be the people who remain permanently high tier. They're going to be laughed at within like a year, because people are going to realize none of these people were ever good. I'm not sure why anyone would rather have people for like a very short amount of time, relatively, see them as good, and then just be seen as a fucking moron ever since, as opposed to actually learning philosophy, actually learning how to debate, and having people actually see you as good. It seems like the second is infinitely more valuable, not only to the ego, because these people, what they have to do is they have to lie to themselves and say that people see them as good, when it's just not true. It's not just good for the ego, it's also good because you're actually learning stuff, you're actually growing as a person, you're actually understanding more. And so that's my reason for believing that syndicates are a kind of poison to the community. They're making the community worse, they're making people dumber, they're making debates worse, they're making debaters worse. They're not doing anything beneficial to the community. It's just making the communities more toxic. It's making the community more dox prone. It's making everything worse. I see no reason why we would rather have a community with syndicates as opposed to a community without syndicates. I think we should go back to the days where whenever you won a debate, It was because a bunch of individual people thought that you won, as opposed to like your friend group thinking that you won. Alright, that's 10 minutes, so I'm gonna end the video off here. I had a lot of fun making it. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit share, copy link, send it to all your friends, send it in all your syndicate servers so people can comment and say that I'm a loser who got bitched. Yeah, and if you've watched all the way to the end, comment conceptual air theory is true.